he says it himself. He's like, I wasn't angry. I wasn't confused.
He was turned on.
He was like, I was impressed. I was like, yeah, girl, I was a dancer. If there's one thing I know how to do, it's how to point my foot and get it to where it needs to go. And it was your chest.
It's Sophia Franklin. You are listening to Sophia with an F. Hey, Sloots. And the F is for phenomenal.
Hi, party people. Welcome to the show, Sophia with an F. If you haven't already, subscribe. I am joined by, is it with or by?
With? I think with? I don't know.
This is Emely Moreno, by the way.
Emily with an E or Emily by an E. Honestly, I don't know grammar that well, so
okay,
you can go with it anyway.
Neither of us do, so we're fucked.
So we're
you know
good.
What?
We're good.
People are not tuning in to listen to like the grammar police. They are tuning in because of how hot we are. Let's be real.
Let's keep it a whole buck. Let's keep it a whole buck.
You're like, don't loop me into that group. Emily with an E, so it's Emely. That's how you spell it.
Yeah.
Was Sophia with an F a little bit of inspo?
You know what?
Like, I didn't know
For the
who you
purposes
were.
of the podcast, it absolutely was. It was just, she's everything to me. When I was a little girl, I was like, I want to be Sophia with an F.
That's what I figured. That's what I figured.
It was exactly like that.
It was fully Sophia with an F inspo. So, but really, you just like, because it's spelled with an E. I've never seen that spelling.
So, legally, my name was Emely, and then they had to change it. So I've had different variations of Emily, but my whole family uses Emely. I didn't realize when I did the tag at Emily with an E, they were going to think my last name was Withani. So even when I tell people, oh, it's Emily with an E, they'll be like, well, how else do you spell Emily?
Okay, I was talking about you to the girl who was doing my makeup. I was like, I'm going to record with Emily with an E. And she's like, well, how else do you fucking spell Emily? And I said Emely.
Yeah, and usually I didn't think it was going to be as confusing as it actually is. And they're like, so does it start with an F? Is it like a silent E? And I'm like, girl, it's an E in the middle.
This is actually a fun fact. My middle name is Vanina, which is a very Spanish name.
Okay.
And it's spelled Vanina. And I'm like, A? Sophia rhymes with Vanina.
Right.
And then my last name was Franco, and then my mom got married. So my name was Sophia Vanina Franco Franklin. And I was like, no, this is not fucking happening.
Had, like, the double situation going on. That's so funny.
It was crazy shit. And then I was like, Vanina, no one in my class, everyone is calling me vagina. It's one letter away from how you spell vagina, so I added an extra N.
Okay, so that makes sense, because when you were spelling it, I was like trying to, because I'm a visual person, I was trying to put it in my head. The only thing that was coming out was like, it's vagina. And I was like, I'm not going to be disrespectful. It's her podcast, but I'm glad you said it, because I was like, okay, it makes sense. Adding the addition was a good addition.
It was a good addition, because I was like, this is fucking crazy shit. Like, my mom's trying to just like fuck me over like from the womb. Like, this is messed up. But I am so excited to have you here. Let's jump into Mean Girls.
Okay.
So you filmed the new rendition of Mean Girls, and you started off as like an influencer posting videos.
Yeah.
How did you like transition into movies and film?
Doing the content, that whole idea of things was, okay, fine, I like to do this, it's fun, because I've been an avid internet person for years now. Like, started when YouTube was just blowing up, when that subscriber box is on the right. Like, that's when I was like, I'm gonna try to do this. Like, Fred was blowing up, whatever.
Okay, wait, I actually want to talk about that. So how old were you when you started posting?
Oh, I was like 9.
Oh.
And it was not,
Did your
there
parents
was no
know?
production. They did know, 110,
Okay.
because they gave me like a test run, like, all right, what are you trying to do? And at that point, I was really into like stop motion animation. So I made like clay people. So weird.
Artsy bitch.
Yeah, it was so weird of just like, that, thank God nobody could find those videos. But then I was like, oh, so I love to sing and dance, so I'm gonna do that as on there as well. And at that point I was in dance, so I was posting stuff like that, and they were like super encouraging. I was like, yeah, do it, go for it. Obviously it wasn't a production like this. It was on a Dell computer with a webcam, so that shit looked like it was filmed on a
like
potato.
after your parents
Literally,
went to bed.
Literally. So I was like, my video, I think the highest video I ever got was like 5K. And I was like, I am the girl, I am the moment, and nobody can fuck with me. Yeah, like I was like, I made it at 10 years old. So I tried to do that, but obviously like that didn't blow up. And then when TikTok happened, I didn't want to get on there because I was like, everybody's just like renegading up the ass in there. Like I don't want to. I felt like I was just like, am I too old for this? I thought it was like only 12-year-olds.
Baby girl, if you're too old, then I need to get off TikTok.
No, but at TikTok at first it was musically, so it was like the and I was like, I'm not trying to do all that. Like I had my little cringy phase on the internet, not trying to like get back at it. But yeah, I did that and then created the videos, and I think my first video went like didn't even go that viral. It was like 50K, and at that point for me, I was like, oh my God.
That's like a big chunk of people.
For the first video, it's like absolutely insane. So then I did the story time, and it just grew bigger and bigger and bigger, and it changed the trajectory for like the next 4 years of my life.
Wow.
And it blew up crazy. And then I was like, you know what? I'm trained in dance. I can sing. I can do all these other things that I'm trained to do. This was just more so like sharing my personality, and they're eating it up. And I was like, so okay, keep it going. So for the 2 years that I first started, I was posting a story time every single day, like every single day. Yeah, I was, so much of my life is on the internet that it's like too much.
But how would you do that? Because I get shit on every single day by my team, like, you don't post. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't come naturally to me, but I want it to, you know?
It was, I think too, just because I loved the internet so much, I had so much to say, and I was so excited that now people were finally listening.
Yeah.
And I've journaled every day of my life since I was like 8 to now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So they're like, she's lying about all these stories. If I don't have a story, I just go back into my journal.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I don't know why I did it, but it ended up working out. But yeah,
you were a mental health queen since the womb.
Honestly, I was just so self-involved to myself that I was like, I'm just gonna write a book about my life, and this is gonna be my book. And it's like, okay, I guess, yeah, sure.
I also love that you're like, people are like, okay, that's not true. And you're like, I'm going to do a dramatic reading of my diary entry from 3 years ago.
It's absolutely, looking back at like the stuff that when I wrote when I was 11, even the handwriting of it. And I'm like, this is so janky, girl. Like, what were you thinking? I for real thought I was writing like a full on novel, not knowing that in the end it would ultimately help, because that's where for the 2 years I was able to get those stories. Also, I was telling stories in live time. So if something were to happen to me, and I'm angry, off clip.
Right then and there. So like if you're like in a fight, you're like, hold on, I need to like.
Hold on, I'm gonna record this 1 second, because now I'm building something and people they want to listen to me. So yeah, no, it was either that, like I'd get into a fight with whether it was my boyfriend or my friend, or which is not healthy in any way, shape, or form, to then automatically go to the internet and be like, guess what the fuck happened to me?
But also not healthy, but
also a bag.
Look at where you
like,
are.
That's what I'm saying. Like, be so for real. So I was like, although I don't do that exactly like that anymore, I'm still like,
just take
I'd do it again. I would do it again. I would do it again so quick. Like, I'm sorry. My friends were like, you can't tell the internet this. I'm like, but why? Why?
I love that and respect that so much in a person, because that means you have to be confident as shit. You're like, I don't care how people are gonna like take this in or how they're gonna feel about it. Like, do you have that level of confidence where when you put something out, you're like, I don't give a fuck how people feel about it?
Because I think too, with making content so young, that I got shit on so bad from like people, even when people found my videos like in school and like they would make fun of it, or random people on the internet from like Minnesota being like, this little fat 10-year-old, like. So at a point I was like, I can't allow you to dictate how I feel about myself. Like, that's just not, then I'm giving you permission or access to me that you don't deserve. So if I want to post this and if you think it's crazy, that's fine. I'm crazy.
That's
badass. It is what it is.
That's such a badass mentality to have. That's what I'm going to do with my kids.
Yeah.
Like, when I have kids, I'm just going to make them put all their shit online, and they're going to have such... I'm going to create fake accounts and like write evil shit 110%. On their posts.
It really helps, It really helps.
And they're going to have the thickest skin ever, and they're going to fucking dominate.
110%.
You know what I mean?
I think if it wasn't for those random people in like Minnesota, like Texas, being like, you're so fat and disgusting, I don't know who I would be today. Because at a point, it's like, shout out to all of those people.
Minnesota and all the fucking haters.
All you haters, like, you genuinely did it. No, it was honestly, at a point, I was like, I can't keep trying to find validation for you guys. You're never going to be happy.
Yeah.
So I can only find validation within myself.
I think that's incredible. And you're only 24. So like if you have like, you're going to be fucking bulletproof. By the time you're 30, oh, you're not going to give a shit what anyone says, any comment.
Especially within this industry, I find like words hold weight. But at a point, I'm so desensitized by like the stuff that's happened. And I'm just like, I don't care. I really don't care. I'm here to do this the way that I know how to do it. And obviously it's worked out in my favor.
It has worked out. That should be a lesson to anyone wanting to start like a platform, because now that's like an actual job, is being a content creator. And people always write in like, do you have advice like for starting out? My advice is always post a ton of content.
Yeah.
Do you think that had to do with some of your success, is like the consistent, constant posting?
Yeah, I also think, just to your point of posting any and everything, like I didn't know what was going to click. I come into the situation being like, I'm going to be a story time teller and that's what I'm going to be known for. Like that wasn't how it worked out. It just so happened that I do like sharing stories. I even just casually amongst like my friends and stuff. I'm always talking like, oh, this happened to me the other day, whatever. But having to figure out how to navigate and letting your niche kind of find you.
Yes.
You can't do that without you just posting anything and everything.
Right.
So it's trial and error, really.
That's really good advice, is like posting shit that's true to you. And then that niche and like those people will find you in your content.
110%. And those are the people that will ride for you, because then they expect something from you. Like, we want to hear more about it, and they can kind of navigate your way into building an audience of just you very much just have to listen to them.
Yeah.
And I know in the beginning of it, they were like, we love this was really funny, this part was really funny. I was like, okay, they like the stories, yes, because the stories are crazy, but more so they like the way I'm telling the stories and the personality that comes through with it. So that is what needs to be at the forefront. But I wouldn't have known that if I didn't have that navigating way of even small amount of people. I'm not saying now that it's like over 5 million people, great, awesome, but at a point there was only 10,000 people.
Yeah.
And even listening to them and being like, we love this, is what was able to get me to there.
Right. That's like a tricky thing, I feel like, because you have to be able to look at comments and likes, and you have to look at that information from bias isn't the word, but like from a standpoint where you can kind of filter through, okay, who's just being a hater,
right,
and who should I actually listen to their feedback. And you can only listen to the feedback from people you know that are actual fans and like you.
Yeah.
Because I think there was like a moment in time where I would hang on to all the rude shit.
It's hard not to, though.
It is.
Imagine getting hundreds and hundreds of people telling you that, like,
I don't have to imagine, baby girl. I was
right. That's what I mean. You got personal experience of it. Like, I remember that whole era of like, oh my god,
I lived that shit.
And I'm sure even now people will still like have their own opinions about you.
Totally.
And it's so daunting to see like so many random people have an opinion about something that happened to you in your personal life, even though they may not know the full entire story of it, which is the craziest part.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is you start, if it's like a significant amount of people, you start to believe it about yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to sit there and think, these people have no idea who I am. They have no idea like what actually happened, what was said.
Right.
So why the fuck do we care? But it's hard to just like ignore it.
To me, it's almost funny of just like, oh, you really thought you ate. Like, that's so crazy that it's like you genuinely thought you ate there. And it's like, okay, because again, with every single hate comment, there'll be so much love on the opposite end of it that I'm like, again, you think I'm a shit ass person? You've never met me a day in my life. And you've never seen me be the shit ass person that you're claiming that I can be. So if you may think that that's your perception's your reality, it's not mine.
It's your reality, and it's also false by
right.
Your reality isn't real.
But your reality isn't real, and that's totally fine. I have no idea who you are. Clearly, you know, as long as they're leaving a comment, I'm like,
that's
I
called
made you feel
engagement,
something.
and that is why I'm getting a bag, because you're engaging with my content.
Exactly. If my content makes you react in any way, shape, or form, that's exactly what it was meant to do, and I'm so glad that you could be part of this journey.
Facts.
Like, point blank period. Go ahead, call me, say my eyebrows are twisted. That's fine. Don't listen to
Not
it.
the eyebrows.
Oh my god, they eat me up on my eyebrows all the time. I'm like, girl, my face is lopsided. I'm like, I acknowledge this about myself, so it's fine. It's okay. Like, even the DMs, people will send me Bibles about how much they hate
crazy.
me. Like, I'm like,
that's crazy when people do that, because I'm like, oh, you're invested in
yeah, I'm like, oh my
me.
God, you love me. I'm like, I literally like, you love me so much. This is absolutely like Bibles just wishing me death of like, as if I did something personal to them. And I'm like,
love that Delulu, like,
yeah.
and you have to have that where you read it and you're like, so they're kind of into it because they
Right.
did take time out to
and they
write
look
this.
into my deep life, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm honored and blessed.
Obsessed.
I'm like, thank you so much. You have spent so much time on me, and I appreciate it always, whatever that looks like.
Do you respond to people?
Oh no.
No.
I don't, unless it's like something that I can turn it to be funny. Like, I think I did something recently where like some guy was like, she's not even that fine to be talking like that. And then I look at their page and it's like, the follow back is crazy. Like, you're following me. And then I look into my DMs and they're like, you're so fine. Like, let me take you out on a date. And I'm like, but that's crazy. That's crazy. You're crazy.
The DMs where it's like 20 DMs saying you're so hot, you're so gorgeous, sit on my face.
Literally.
And then the last 5, the recent ones are like, die, bitch.
Yeah.
That's a crazy, like, to see it fucking just go from 0 to 100 like that.
110%.
Those people kind of scare me.
No, there are psychos that I'm like, okay, I don't know what. That's why I'm like, go. And a lot of times people leave hate comments just because they want like the attention.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not even gonna feed into it unless I can make this funnier than what it already is.
And repurpose it.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. You posted your boyfriend publicly. And that was recently that you did that? Because you kind of kept him private.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed on the socials.
Okay, so I will never allow a boyfriend on the socials, but I also like dealt with a very public thing, so I'm scared of it. But
yeah, makes sense.
what made you decide to do that? Do you regret it? Or are you happy about it?
I don't regret it because I think I got to a point where I was like, okay, in the beginning, I didn't really want to share. I know that I decided to do this, so I'm not going to add anybody else into this. And I also didn't want other people to have an opinion about relationships that they don't know. But it got to a point where I was just like, all these stories I have, but it's even funnier to have the person that actually experienced it with me to be like, yeah, she was there and she was bugging the hell out. And I don't regret it because it's like, well, I mean, people see us together all the time if like we're out casually or whatever, but it's just kind of like, yeah, that's my man's and he's been my man's for the past 8 years, and there's a reason. I'm not like
8 years is crazy.
Yeah, we met in high school, so it's been a minute. But again, because of that, there's so many stories now that he can also validate, because I get a big thing, it's like, she's lying about it, like, no way. And I'm like, okay, well, now you can come and tell your side of it.
Yeah,
and
you're like, babe, tell him
I'm crazy. Tell them I'm crazy. Tell them what I did to you. But yeah, no, I definitely don't regret it. But it's not like I'm gonna be like a relationship channel, because that's not my gig.
That's not your vibe. And I know that because the TikTok that you posted, I was screaming, is when you talk about how you were at the club with your boyfriend and he was like talking to a girl, or a girl went up to him or something and you kicked him in the chest. Yeah. Which, listen, I have done some shit in relationships that I regret. This was like a couple years ago. I had an Amazon box. The guy I was dating at the time, we were broken up and got back together. And this girl texted him and I was like, oh, pull it up. Because I was like laying right next to him. And there was no prior text messages, but it was so clearly like, it wasn't a hello. It was like,
it was like a part of a conversation.
So I'm like, okay, so you deleted the conversation that you guys were having. So I grabbed an Amazon box and I chucked it as hard as I could at his head. He dodged it, which is like very annoying. Sometimes like you just have to do shit like that.
Sometimes it's just love will make you do crazy things. And like that's what I'm saying. Everybody was like, different. Oh my God, you heard him. But I said, like, this 200 pounds of man.
Thank you.
Leave him alone. He's totally fine. He's fine. He's living. He's breathing. Yeah. He's survived.
This doesn't, it's like a little scratch. They're fine.
Yeah. And also that period of my life was when I was actively like, something would happen, story would be up the next day. So the way that I was still in that like moment of anger and everything, but like, yeah, I kicked him in his chest, and honestly, we laugh about it. Like it was funny. He says it himself. He's like, out of everything, when you first did it, I looked up And I wasn't angry. I wasn't confused.
He was turned on,
He was like, I was impressed. I didn't think that you could. I was like, yeah, girl, I was a dancer. If there's one thing I know how to do, it's how to point my foot and get it to where it needs to go. And it was your chest. And I was like, that was in the middle of a packed club, like, and I'll do it again.
Kicked out or no?
I didn't get kicked out, but
was a girl hitting on him or like he was talking a bitch?
So okay,
me calling her a bitch, like not knowing anything.
So okay, at that point we like kind of were on like a break or whatever, and it was. I also missed this part of the story. It was his birthday party celebration thing.
No excuse.
Right. And he was like, it was my birthday. I said, I don't care. It could have been Christmas. I still would have done it. Like it could have been. I don't care. And yeah, I just love makes you do some crazy things. I never thought, I mean, actually, let me not cap here. I knew that was well within me to do something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just saw him dancing with like somebody else. And I was like, I don't like it. I don't like it. And this is how my body naturally, there wasn't any like a moment that I didn't think.
Like, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Honestly, it was just like, oh, this is gonna happen. Okay, this is how I feel. Boom, it happened. And
that's the thing. There was alcohol involved, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, I was drinking Hennessy Red Bull.
Okay.
And so
Hennessy Red Bull.
I was on 1,000. I don't know what I was on. Like I was wearing a cat suit. Like I was living my best life, honestly.
The fact that, because I used to do anything Red Bull, vodka Red Bull, like whiskey Red Bull. Like I didn't give a shit. It was always a Red Bull though.
Yeah.
That's like a crazy mix. I would not do that now.
I still do it. Yeah, I still do it. I'm not gonna lie, but it's not my go-to drink anymore. Because when they tell you Red Bull gives you wings, it gives you wings, and people get kicked in the chest. Like I'm not like it. Really, I was flying through that club. Like it was not okay. But I definitely like Red Bull. To me, I love Red Bull. I love Red Bull.
Okay.
With everything in, but I'm just like I can't. I have too much energy naturally.
Yeah.
That it's just like I'm bouncing off the walls.
I think it's a little bit of a recipe for disaster. It kind of reminds me of like when I used to take Adderall and I wouldn't eat and then I would drink. So it's like I wouldn't remember, but I would be awake because I took an Adderall and I would just act like a sociopath. Like I need that numbing kind of put me to sleep thing that alcohol will do now so that I don't act crazy, you know?
Oh no.
Also drinking in moderation, that's like another thing. Like I'll try to learn how to do that in 2024 for sure.
I thought you were gonna be like, because I've learned how to drink in moderation. I am not that. If I'm out, I'm out and I'm out on the streets. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to have a good time. Like I'm not to get messy, but sometimes it happens. I can't say that I haven't had my nights where I'm like, ooh, maybe we shouldn't have ordered another one.
Yeah. Now that I'm older, I have it under control, but that was like a recent thing for sure.
Really?
But now I can do it like a responsible adult. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Sloots. I have dealt with hair thinning before. I went through an incredibly stressful period and I vividly remember waking up to clumps of hair around my pillow, which sounds extremely dark, but it's extremely common. So common that approximately 1 in 2 women deal with it. Thinning is normal and Nutrafol helps women address it from within with science-backed supplements. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve visible thickness and strength. From postpartum to plant-based lifestyles to a career crisis, no matter what stage of life you're in, Nutrafol has 4 unique formulas to support women. Each is physician-formulated using drug-free, science-backed ingredients so you get the most reliable results. Go to Nutrafol.com to take their hair health wellness quiz, identify causes of your thinning hair, and Nutrafol will give you a personalized plan for better hair growth through their whole body health approach. Like I said, I have been there and I am so thankful that I decided to try out Nutrafol hair supplements because they work. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering my listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code Sofia. Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier, care. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code Sofia. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Sofia.
I feel like COVID just kind of like messed it all up. There was nothing to do in COVID. I turned 21 in COVID. So I was like, there's nothing to do but sit in my friend's backyard, socially distanced, and, just drink. And that's it.
COVID, I would just drink alone because that's what you would do.
Mm-hmm. There was nothing else to do.
COVID was definitely a dark time. I think I was like under the influence of something for 85% of COVID.
I think me too. I think we all were at a point. Like, how else were you going to get through it?
Right. That makes me feel a lot better. So, Mean Girls.
Okay.
You got the part from dancing.
Mm-hmm.
How did you decide to try out, or like how did that role happen?
So I posted when I came back from LA, I posted Lady Gaga Bad Romance dance video. And it's because just naturally being in dance for so many years, the reason I got into dance was because of people like celebrity, like Lady Gaga, Beyonce, like all these like giants, and I would just copy their music videos. So I knew it like the back of my hand. Like I was one of those kids because I wasn't allowed to go outside. So I was just very much in my house.
No wonder you'd fucking post on the internet.
Yeah, I was a little girl that was like, my parents like, you're not going to the park with your friends. That's not happening with you. But you can watch music videos and go on the internet. That's about it. Which is probably worse.
But is that a Spanish mom thing?
Yeah,
because
definitely.
my mom was strict as fuck too, and like I couldn't do anything my friends were doing in high school.
Absolutely not. I was not allowed to do that. But again, it ended up working out, but because I learned all these different music videos, like Beautiful Liar, like know it like like I know it by heart, like. So I don't know. One day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it for TikTok. I think it's funny. I also love to dance so much, but I knew that at a point my audience wanted the story times. But I was like, you know what, girls? I'm gonna show you what else we got in the vault, and this is one of those things. And I just put it up there, put my big boots on, and did the Bad Romance dance video, and it went super viral.
I saw it. It has like 19 million likes or views or something crazy.
Like 19 million views. And it's not even like the one that went super crazy, but for it to be dance and something that I'm not telling a story was like absolutely crazy. So that went nuts, and Lady Gaga commented on it and it went crazy. And then Kyle Hanagami commented underneath it, which that one to me like blew my mind, just because growing up in dance, like you have these huge like icons within the dance
like your
industry.
idol.
Yeah, and like him out of like a whole bunch of other people, like Galen Hooks, like all of these people that, I took his class when I was years ago. So when I finally saw him comment on it, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I looked at his thing and he followed me, and I was like, oh my God, like this is a full circle moment. And he was like, this is fire, like this is amazing. And I was like, this is crazy to get recognized for something outside of just like the stories or my personality, something that I was actually trained to do by people that I've paid money to take class from. Like, so it's crazy. And a couple months after that, he reached out to me over DMs on TikTok and was like, hey, I'm working on this project. I'm considering you for it. Let me know if you're available. You'll have to shoot it off like remotely, obviously like at home. But let me know. And I was like, absolutely.
You're like, I'm outside your house right now.
And I was like, where do you want me? I was like, I'll take the car now. I'll Uber helicopter there. I'll do whatever I need to do. It's totally fine. So that was a huge like full circle moment for me to be like, you were somebody that I was hoping you would just pick me out in class, and now you're even considering me and know who I am, which is crazy.
Full circle moment.
Yeah, and got that opportunity and we went through it. That took so long to do, but
to film? Just
to film it, because they wanted it to be. I mean, I can't like say too much about it, but I had to film it remotely.
Okay, and
it was super fun because obviously I love the Mean Girls like original movie, but to be even considered, and I don't know, I haven't seen it yet, so I'm talking about it right now. I'll be in it for like a second and a half.
I killed it.
Like, and I killed it, and I ate down. Like, it's fine. Tina Fey's my girl, but yeah, I don't know how much I'm in it, and even if I'm in it for like 1 second, the whole opportunity of it, of Kyle reaching out to me, of even being considered to be in it,
is amazing.
Is amazing, and it blew my mind. And it's something that like it doesn't go lost on me, that I'm like, this is crazy. By making just a video that I've been doing for 10 years. It
Yeah.
changed the trajectory of my life. And
Just one video. The fact that Lady Gaga commented, I did an interview a couple weeks ago and they asked me like who my top 3 dream guests would be, and Lady Gaga was one of them because I mean, she's the icon, the
that's
icon.
Mother Monster.
Do
Like,
you know the choreography to Telephone?
yeah, absolutely. That was
Can
Beyonce.
you teach
and
me after?
I can 110% teach you after.
That
Every single
song?
one. Oh my God, like just the whole artistry behind Beyonce and Lady Gaga in one music video. That's like embedded in my head for the rest of my life.
I think that is my favorite music video of all time.
Oh yeah.
It's so fucking good. So you were posting both like dance videos and then videos where you would literally just take to the internet and like talk about, just tell a story or how you were feeling. What was like the worst job? Because I've worked so many different fucking jobs too. What was like the worst job you had? I'm trying to think of the worst one I had.
And the worst job honestly, anything that had to do with me waking up early killed me. But I would probably...
Just working in the service industry is like, I was a waitress. I was a lead hostess. I was a barista. I worked at a grocery store and it was like the cashier. I think that was the worst.
I was going to say that one seems pretty boring.
That one was really fucking boring.
I think probably the most boring one definitely was a daycare. I took charge of like 12 2-year-olds at 16 years old. Yeah, I can potty train a 2-year-old in 2 weeks. Like,
That's
easy,
crazy.
easy. But like that was probably the most
put
boring.
him in a playpen and be like,
no, I had to literally actively like play with them, teach them like I was Miss Emily, like teach them about themselves because they spent like 12 hours at the daycare.
Right.
And I would go after school, right before dance, and just be potty training them, like in and out, being like, all right, time to go, let's go. Like, Lucia, you know you have to do this right now, girl. Like, you know this is your time to shine. Like, you're gonna do it and we can listen to Frozen right after.
okay, 2 years old is crazy.
Crazy.
My very first job was at this place called Sweet and Sassy in Utah, where I would do like middle girls, like young girls would throw birthday parties there, and I would like do their makeup and hair, and I had no idea how to do it. That was actually like kind of fun, but like little girls can be really mean. But it was fun.
At least 2-year-olds, they can't really talk back
they can't,
to you.
exactly.
They can't. They'll hit you though. They'll hit you.
Did you hit him back?
No. Oh my God, I would get like the police would be at this door.
Completely fucking with
No,
you.
imagine. I'm like, absolutely. I punched them straight in their face. You're not gonna disrespect me. I don't care what age you are.
They had to learn.
No, they'll fight between each other though, and I have to breaking up a 2-year-old fight is probably the funniest thing ever.
That
like
I can
full
only
swings.
imagine.
It was nuts.
So you are Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you. This is completely off topic. It's just like something I've been noticing, and I was talking about it last night, literally. I feel like there's this thing happening, and maybe it's always been there. Dudes are super into like dating a Hispanic girl.
You know what's that's so funny you bring
like
that up.
Fetishizing.
It's
right.
I'm not. Ooh, you're getting me hot right now because I literally the other day was 2 weeks ago hanging out with my friends, and it was like these new people that were there, and the comment that I got the most, and I was with my best friend Nicole, and we're both Latina, and they're like, oh dude, like because she's Latina, she's so fiery, like she's spicy, like that's why she's saying that, like, oh nah dude, yo, I've messed with so many Latina chicks, she just like that, like yo,
she has a temper.
yeah, she's so like she's fiery, she's spicy. Like I am not a spice. Like I'm, first of all, because I guess I'm outspoken, that doesn't go with each other because it just doesn't make sense to me. It's so, whenever I tell people I'm Latina and they're like, oh, where are you from? And then I tell them I'm Colombian, then it's like this idea starts building in their head. And they're like, oh my God, 1, I'm probably a coke whore. 2, I'm a prostitute. Like, I'm like, no, that's fine. But I always get the like, oh, so fiery because you're Latina.
Right.
And I'm
spicy, fiery, badass usually is like, that's.
Yeah, I didn't fall into that category. Unfortunately, the third one, I'm not gonna lie to you. We ain't got much working back here, but you know, we'll fall into the other categories.
But we're gonna go to BBL and we're gonna be 100%.
Once I hit up Dr. Miami, then maybe I'll be in that category.
I've just been noticing, and like dudes that even I'm like really good friends with who are in the industry have been saying, like, they will make it a point to point out that the girl they're dating was Spanish.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
as it's kind of like a trophy.
Exactly.
And it's weird because it doesn't necessarily matter. I mean, it's just weird being on the receiving end of it. I was just like, oh yeah, my girlfriend was Latina. And it's like, am I supposed to give you like
does
the
that
Nobel
make
Peace
you
Prize?
cool?
Right. I don't know. I'm like, I don't
know either.
I don't know what type of applause you want from this, but like, I guess. And I hate when people are like, oh my God, if once you date a Latina, like you have to learn how to like keep up with her, like, you know, manage her because they could be so crazy. And it's like, what is this like narrative? And I don't know where it came from.
I think it came from Sofia Vergara and Modern Family.
Probably. I've been watching Modern Family with my boyfriend, the whole thing.
Right.
And I'm like, she was so typecasted into this like Colombian, like very...
it was a great role,
she
show was amazing. But like it was very like the typecast very stereotypical. Like that's how I think when dudes are like, yeah, like I'm dating this girl. She is from Argentina, or like she's Colombian, or she's like from Brazil. I think that in their brains they are thinking of like the Sofia Vergara thing.
I think that's also just the way the show was set up. It was like a take on society because that's how people view when you hear Latina. That's the first thing that pops up into your head, which is crazy because it's like not everybody is like fiery, like screaming, kicking boyfriends in the chest. Like there's some people that are just a little bit more timid. And also Latino, but
yes. Do you refer to yourself as Latina or Spanish? And do you give a fuck? Because like when I first started Sofia with an F, I would use those things interchangeably. My mom was born and raised in Argentina. My dad born and raised and still lives in Spain.
Okay.
I'm first generation, and I would like use those interchangeably, and people would be like, it's Latin X, and would freak out. I'm not going to refer to myself as Latinx. I don't care if that's the politically correct thing to do. I'm just not doing it.
I think when I'm back home, when I go back to Colombia, I use it to that standard because my first language is Spanish. So how they speak is how I speak.
Yeah.
So when I say, oh, yo soy hispana, that's like I'm Hispanic, I'm Latino, I'm Spanish. Like to me, it's all the same.
Yeah.
But I know that people have their own, like, they'll stand on their territory on it, which is fine. But I prefer to refer. Can't even speak.
Refer.
I told you, girl. The grammar's
Spanish
not
is
there.
the first language.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking.
But I literally, anytime my mom says anything, I throw out the Spanish, which Spanish was my first language, and now I've completely lost it. Which is my
you
mom's
don't speak
fault.
it at all.
I understand everything, but my mom would speak to me in Spanish. I would respond in English. So it's her fault. But we love
blame her. Blame her.
I mean, I think she knows. She
knows what she did. I'm not like, if you hear me speak Spanish, you can very much tell I'm from America. But actually that's weird because when I'm here and I speak Spanish, they're like, oh, you're from Colombia. And when I'm in Colombia, they're like, girl, you are gringa puro puro. Like,
it's all relative.
Like, I am born in the USA in Colombia, like holding on to the flag. Not, just anytime I say something, that's how they view me. They see me like a bald eagle over there.
Utah is, growing up in Utah, imagine. The whitest crazy. People on the planet. Like that state is extremely white. And I'm white too, which this is a whole different conversation. But in high school, I was like one of maybe 5 Latina or Latino people in my entire school. So it was like I'm the most Spanish person they've ever seen.
Did they call you a chonga? Because that's what they called me. I was known as like the chonga girls, me and my friends. I was like, that's not correct, but okay.
No one ever called me that to my face.
Oh, okay.
Maybe behind my back.
Maybe. Because I can only imagine. Because I think where I grew up was, at that point, a lot of white, but there was like Hispanics there, but it wasn't as much as it is now. Yeah. So I can't imagine being like one of 5 people in your entire school.
One of 5, and then when I moved to New York, I'm seen as like the whitest bitch ever.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like it is kind of relative to where you are, but it's funny how people like it's funny how we are supposed to use Latin X to describe it because that like does not roll off the tongue. Latin X.
It doesn't come up again when I speak to like my grandma or anything and I refer to myself or my friends. I can't use that. I can't use that verbiage with her just because she's gonna be like, I don't know what that is, and I'm like, all right, but well, I mean, again, it's a different way of living over here than it is over there.
Yes.
Which I think it's like that's where I always think of like when people are like, what should you say? I'm like, well, I'm gonna say what my native tongue requires. And if I'm in Colombia and I say that, they're gonna look at me like I have 5 heads. 5 heads with the bald eagle. Like I'm just I don't.
I feel that. Do you go to Colombia a lot?
Yeah, I go like twice a year.
Oh, amazing! And
yeah,
how
I was
long
just
do you
there for
stay
Mother's
for?
Day. Usually like a week, 2 weeks. It depends on what I'm doing. I think one of the times I went, I stayed for like 3 weeks because I did a road trip through all of Colombia.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we did that, and then I went for Mother's Day to go visit my grandma with my mom, and visiting like different parts because where I'm from is very much mountains. Okay. So there's not too much of a city there. So when I went,
do you get bored?
Oh my God, yeah. Holy crap, dude. It's like, it's such a culture shock to be out there, and like you get to realize like we're complaining about all this other stuff over here, and there's a cow in the middle of the street right now. And I'm like, all right, I drank goat milk. What was that thing called?
The udder.
The udder. I'll go. I milked the goat. Drank goat milk, and I was first of all, I'm lactose, so I don't know if that even was allowed. Like, but that hurt my stomach so bad.
Did it taste good or did it taste
No,
crazy?
it tasted crazy. It tasted warm. I was like,
also just the pace of life is so much slower, or maybe everything is like that compared to New York. But like, even when I go home to Utah, which I'm not gonna fucking compare Utah to South America and the pace of life there, but even going home to Utah, I'll order a sandwich and it will be like 2.5 minutes have gone by and I'll be like, this is taking so long. It's not.
No, it's ridiculous. And I don't know, maybe it is just New York, but I'll be sitting there and I'm like, all right, like guys, it's been 45 minutes. Like it's been 45 minutes. Like we're on to the next. Like this is too much. And like just life is a little bit slower. I'm like, but then that's how life passes you. And I'm like, we need to get as much going on now because we don't know what's gonna happen. Like I don't know. It's just like
frantic
natural
energy in New York.
It is, but I think that's where I thrive.
Me too.
I feel like I've tried LA, I've tried different, I mean, and Florida is like, that's the Twilight Zone, so that's completely different. But like, there's something about just New York where it's like, just go, 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 go. And then once you get that moment of relief is when you did it all. And that's it.
And people will say like, don't you get anxious living in New York because it is so fast paced and so crazy? And I thrive in that kind of environment too, because if it's too calm and too relaxed, then I have way too much time on my hands to start thinking. And when I start thinking, only bad things happen.
No, 100. It's like, because there's so much happening around you, it's so much easier to shut your brain off and just do the things that you know that you will benefit you the most.
Yes.
If I have time to just sit down and be with my thoughts, I'm gonna go crazy.
I can't.
It's a dark room up there. Like I'm just like, I don't want to sit in there. Like I'll say hello every once in a while, but like let's keep it moving. Because then I just don't feel productive. I don't feel like I'm doing anything.
I won't feel productive, but I also love how every single therapist in the whole world is like, you need to learn to love yourself and be able to just sit with yourself. And I'm like, I don't think that's for me.
Yeah,
like,
I think
I don't want to.
That's so great for some people, but for me, I'm not. I just no.
I mean, I can't.
I journal. I'll journal it. It's fine. Move on. That's it. That's my moment for me.
Do you still journal?
Yeah, I still
Okay. Do you think it's like helped you with your mental health?
I don't think it has anything to do with it, honestly. Like
I love that.
I know that people are like, it's so, and it might work for some people, but for me personally, I do it purely for the chisme, like for the gossip, so I can look back on it and just like whenever it's a slow day, be like, I am so crazy. Like that's literally it. I just look back on my life, and because I forget so much. That Same. It's more so for a memory thing of just remembering of like, I completely forgot when I knew that person. Or if somebody were to be like, oh, you did, I know I never said that. I wrote it in my journal.
Do you have like journal entries where you will keep score? Like this bitch said this, this, and this to me, and I don't want to forget it, and I want to be able to like refer back to this if I need to.
I have receipts. I have old notes. I have notes from high school. If people ever were to be like, that never happened, here's a note that you wrote me. Like, I'm not.
You could sell that journal for a lot of money.
Oh, I have multiple.
So much
There's like
money.
4 or 5 of them because you just go through them, and I'm like, these are my receipts. That's why I'm like, I don't know, maybe if I'm doing journaling like incorrectly and I'm using it for like harm as opposed to like for hate. But like, no, I don't know. I write down everything, like goal list, all of it, like everything is in there. You can literally look through my life and do that journal.
I get really scared that someone's gonna find it.
Find it? Oh my God.
Do you hide it?
I do hide it. just because I'm like, there's some journal entries I'm like, girl, what did you think you were doing here? But yeah, I hide it. And also I where I have it, it's like in a safe. And I'm like, you can't, I was about to say, and my password is, now imagine.
But but also people can hack your phone. So like maybe me writing shit in my notes app is actually the scary thing to do.
Yeah, because sometimes when I don't have my journal around me, I'll write notes of like specific moments. So I have notes that go years.
And I get scared that someone's going to hack my shit.
Or if I lose my phone and someone goes through it and they're like, oh, on December 10th at 4:37 p.m., she said. And like, because that's how I journal everything. Because again, I want to remember specific times of my life because I feel like it's important.
Write the time too.
Your time, the date, everything.
That's kind of genius though.
Yeah,
you're gonna be able to like look back on it with your kids. They're gonna be like, why were you
in journal at 3:30 a.m. and why were you like? And I'm drunk and I'm like, guys, today was lit. Like
you're like, we're gonna skip that one.
No, this pages we just go through.
This is gonna be a hard pivot, but this is something I've been wanting to talk about. Guys that get plastic surgery. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to do it.
I think the one came up automatically, and I was like...
Was it the one we were talking about before we recorded? Yeah. Okay. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? I hate it, but I want you to take it away.
It doesn't, unless I get a nose job. I get a nose job, maybe, like, if you're not happy with your nose, that's fine. Okay. But, like, once you're doing surgeries on, like, getting abs...
The fact that people...
That's scary.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe it's like not fair of me. I want my dude to not even know what's hot and what's not.
Yeah.
That's sexy to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where he's just like so not into it.
And he just doesn't
like
know.
A Forest King where it's like, I don't know, I'm just living life.
That's honestly what I like. I just think for like a dude to do that, it rubs me the wrong way. And maybe I need to like get with the times in 2023, but I'm just not a fan.
I mean, again, I get like, if you want to get a nose job, that's fine. Like,
yeah, everyone, you do you.
You do you. Get your nose job.
I fucking hate it, but like, do
But
your thing.
if you're getting like abs placed in, I'm going to be like, I think there's a deeper problem we have to talk about here.
Yeah.
I'm like, but again, or maybe if you want to get a BBL, go ahead. Like, make that juice move. I don't know.
So the BBL, I think I've told this story. My mom almost died in the middle of getting a BBL. So I'm like, pretty against those because they're like dangerous as shit.
They're one of the most dangerous like surgeries. I'm also like a little scared of getting plastic because I think we had a similar experience. Somebody in our family passed away from getting plastic surgery. So for me, I'm always just like so scared of it that I'm like, if you want to do it, that's completely up to you. Just understand the risk.
Yeah,
like,
I totally support it if you are not a guy that I'm dating.
Okay, and you know what? That's up to you. But I always support a little scoot because I'm at one point or another we're gonna get there. We're gonna get to scoot poo poo, and that's fine.
By the way, if you can't see her, she is making a hand gesture
to my forehead and to my cheekbones because we get there at one point. Time comes. It comes.
Botox and filler, I'm 100% on board with, and that will happen. I don't want my dude. I just don't want my dude doing it.
You don't want him to get a BBL.
I just don't like pretty boys. That's what I don't like. And I don't like if a dude posts a picture, like a selfie with a shirt off, like showing off their abs.
So do you like Instagram, like how would you feel like content creator boyfriend?
Absolutely fucking not.
Okay.
Ever.
I agree.
Never.
I just think it's a little cringy where they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm scared.
No.
I'm like, ah. No. I'm literally like, okay, I can't get into that. I
can't either, which I don't know. Maybe I need to get with the times, but.
Maybe, honestly, or maybe not. I don't know. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, actually, I don't think I need to.
Think you got it.
How about that? Okay, Emily, I wasn't even planning on talking about that. And then it just hit my brain like, we need to. You are so funny. Your TikTok is amazing. Emely with an E. Where else can they find you?
You can find me on YouTube. Emely Moreno on That's Debatable Podcast. You can find me on Instagram at Emely Moreno. And maybe in the Mean Girls. I don't know.
Ooh, we don't know yet.
We don't know yet. But we do. But we don't. But we do. But we will.
We will. Yeah. And even if she's not in it, we're going to lie and say like you were. But
110%. I'll edit it in there. I know how to use Final Cut Pro. Don't worry about it.
And you guys know where to find me, Sofia with an F, Franklin with a Y. Talk to you next week, Sloots. Bye.